Could this be the secret weapon the Red Sox need to land an ace? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and for most fans, including myself, I think the main goal for the Red Sox this offseason is to really get a top-of-the-rotation type guy. However, the market for that is going to be really difficult, but the Red Sox may have a secret weapon that can help them get a deal done. So that is what we are talking about in today's video. We're going to be talking about a secret weapon the Red Sox may have up their sleeve, how this could impact the 2025 offseason. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. So the secret weapon that we are talking about today actually may come in the form of another Red Sox player in Lucas Giolito. Now, Lucas hasn't technically opted into the Red Sox second-year contract, but he absolutely is going to. He will be here next year. And Lucas went on and interviewed with Baseball Isn't Boring, and he talked about how he might be recruiting some players coming into the 2025 offseason and what that could potentially mean for the Red Sox. And I'm just going to play a little bit of a snippet here, and we're going to talk about that. But if you want to listen to the full interview, I will put the link to that podcast in the description down below. So let's start by playing this clip.
I'm a guy named Max. My last name happened to be Freed. Give me your pitch.
What, you think I haven't already talked to him about it?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, of course you have, right? So
I'll say, like, don't you want to, we played high school ball together, and we always talked about how cool it would be if we'd be on the same team in the big leagues, when we legitimate conversations we would have when we were 17. So let's, this is the shot to make it a reality right here. But yeah, I mean, obviously I think he would fit in great. Obviously, I think that the need is there. You look at the starting pitcher depth chart, you don't see a lot of LHP. So, and in my opinion, he's the best, most consistent left-handed starting pitcher. So, I think it's a good fit. Obviously, I'm a little biased.
So basically what this clip is telling us is that Lucas Giolito is already out here trying to recruit Max Fried to come play for the Boston Red Sox. Now, for those of you who are a little lost as to why Lucas Giolito is the one doing that, it's because he and Max Fried actually went to high school together in the same graduating class and played for the same baseball team. And not only those two, but another impending MLB free agent, Jack Flaherty, was also on that team as well. He was a couple of years younger, but they do know each other pretty well. First and foremost, imagine being some poor senior in high school. You aren't going anywhere in baseball. You just play to have fun. You just got absolutely tanked by an algebra test. You go out there and you have to play 3 future big leaguers, all 3 of them really solid pitchers in the big leagues. Man, that it had to have been an absolutely miserable Friday night bus ride home. But outside of the fact that they absolutely ruined some poor seniors' days, absolutely a couple of times in their high school days, this could be big news for the Boston Red Sox, because in this interview, Lucas Giolito specifically talks about the fact that he and Max Fried have had this conversation since they were 17 years old. They wanted to play for the same MLB team. They wanted to try and win a World Series for the same MLB team, and this might be their opportunity to do that, and that could absolutely give the Red Sox an advantage. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are going to sit here and say, and you're going to say, Corbin, at the end of the day, relationships don't matter as much as the money. And on the surface, you're probably right? It's going to take the Red Sox to be heavily involved in the Max Fried sweepstakes for any of this to even come to fruition. But at the same time, too, if the Red Sox can get into a similar ballpark as everyone else, or at least in the same area code, within the same dollar amount, within the same year's amount of a couple other offers, and Max Fried is sitting there trying to decide between similar contracts for 3 different teams who are buying for his services, and one of them, who again is in the same ballpark money-wise and year-wise, is also just happens to be the home of Lucas Giolito, and guy that you've been wanting to play with for years, a guy that you grew up with, a person that you like to be with. Well, that could absolutely give you an advantage, believe believe it or not. Now, I will say, obviously, this doesn't mean Max Fried is going to be knocking on the Red Sox door and saying, hey guys, guess what? My buddy from high school plays here. Give me any contract, I'll sign it, because man, do we want to go fight for a championship together, right? They're going to want their fair value on the open market. But again, any competitive advantage the Red Sox can take advantage of in this free agency period is going to be absolutely massive. This is going to be a very competitive free agency, mostly because there are going to be, a handful of really impactful starting pitchers, and then it really tapers off pretty quickly. These top guys, these Max Frieds, these Corbin Burns, those are going to be the two most sought after arms on this market, and if the Red Sox have that advantage, that's absolutely massive, because Max Fried can absolutely be the best thing for the Red Sox coming out of this offseason. I am absolutely going to make a full in-depth video as to how much of an impact Max Fried could possibly have. I'm just sort of waiting for the Red Sox to be more officially connected to him before we have a conversation about him. But just quickly, when we're talking about needs for the Boston Red Sox, Lucas Giolito is right. You don't see any other left-handed starters in this rotation, and Max Fried could do that. You don't see any true veteran ace type pitchers. You've got very talented pitchers in Houck, Bayo, Giolito, Crawford, but no veteran certified possible number ones. Max Fried could absolutely be that. Looking back at his 2024 season, the dude had a 3.25 ERA with a 3.33 FIP, a 1.164 whip, and a 1.28 ERA plus, about 28% above league average production. He's a two-time All-Star, a two-time top 5 Cy Young finisher, and kind of cool, he is also a 3-time Gold Glover. Again, I don't want to dive too deep into Fried's fit on the Sox because I do want to give him a full video, but boy, would this be absolutely fantastic, and Lucas Giolito being the key to that could be absolutely fantastic as well. But I also don't want to discount Jack Flaherty, right? I don't think they have as strong as a relationship between Jack Flaherty and Lucas Giolito, but I do think that this could be someone that the Red Sox are interested in because they were interested in him last offseason. We know that they were connected to Jack Flaherty in the offseason last year. The combination of Lucas Giolito and renewed interest in Jack Flaherty coming into 2025 could absolutely be some things that sway him towards the Red Sox, right? Oh, this was a team that's been interested in me a while. I know another one of those guys in that rotation because, hey, we went to high school together. Maybe I will take the Red Sox over, let's say, the Blue Jays or someone else vying for my services. Again, crazier things have happened, and Jack Flaherty in his own right would be an absolutely fantastic fit with this Red Sox team too. Again, like Fried, we will make a separate video talking about the entire fit for Jack Flaherty, but just quickly, the 2024 stats was a 3.17 ERA, a 3.48 FIP, a 1.068 WHIP, and a 1.27 ERA plus. Again, it's going to take a lot more than the Red Sox just sort of sending out Lucas Giolito and being like, hey man, get him to sign for as low as humanly possible. But I do think this gives the Red Sox some sort of advantage, and I think we could point to other examples as to why this could be such an advantage, and it has a lot to do with players who just recently signed with this team. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It certainly helps these videos out a ton, but it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for taking a second and doing so. Let's talk some more about this whole recruiting thing. Believe it or not, former players and current players on this team have had big hands in getting other players on the Red Sox and free agents onto MLB teams in general. It's a very common practice to see former players playing a big role in getting a guy over here, and we can point to a couple examples on the Red Sox either currently or recently. The only reason Justin Turner was with the Boston Red Sox in 2023 was because Kike Hernandez gave him a really fantastic pitch. Now, obviously, there were other factors involved, but that was a big reason why Justin Turner decided to come here. And while the 2023 season didn't work out super well, I will say Justin Turner, I feel like, did work out for this Red Sox team. Trevor Story, a big reason why he was here is because of Dustin Pedroia talking to Trevor Story, and even Xander Bogaerts, who he possibly was going to replace and ended up did replacing for reasons he couldn't really control, absolutely helped him come to the Boston Red Sox over other teams. So while yes, it sounds kind of outlandish that a player would pick the Red Sox over someone else simply because they're high school buddies on the team, it has happened in the past, and it has happened for other players specifically on the Boston Red Sox. And again, while I don't think Max Fried is going to knock on the door of the Red Sox organization and say, give me whatever you got, I just want to be here, I do think it gives them a bit of a leg up, and any leg up they could possibly get is absolutely fantastic. But there's one thing that this boils down to. Lucas Giolito could stand outside of Max Fried's house with a boombox in the rain, but it's not going to make a difference if the Red Sox aren't willing to pony up the money that they need to pony up. And unfortunately, right now, I think a lot of us are sitting here unbelievably skeptical that they'll even be in the same realm as some of these other teams looking for Max Fried services. And a lot of us are sitting here saying the exact same thing. All of this is nice, but without the money, it's not possible. And until we see the Red Sox put that money on the table, we're not going to believe that it's actually going to happen. And it's an unfortunate thing because this should be exciting. It's a competitive edge that the Red Sox have that no other team in baseball has. It's something that could give the Red Sox the leg up in the Max Fried sweepstakes, a pitcher that fits perfectly with this Red Sox team. But again, even if you get a little bit excited, you immediately go, well, are the Red Sox actually going to pay for Max Fried services, right? That's just your first immediate thought, and it just says so much about where this ownership is in terms of its relationship with this fan base. But again, I am going to get excited. I'm allowing myself to get a little bit excited here. This is not the first time the Red Sox have been connected within the organization to a possible Max Fried sighting. I think a lot of people have underestimated just how important it is to really have those relationships with players on the team that you're signing with, especially, again, if they could figure out a way to get the money in the years in the same ballpark as other teams vying for his services. So plus, wouldn't it just be kind of cool to have Lucas Giolito, a guy who you signed last offseason? It did not work out. You end up paying him to do absolutely nothing. Totally not his fault. It happens, but it was a big disappointment. Come back in 2025, help anchor this rotation and bring in the exact guy the Red Sox have been looking for a little bit now. That would be an unbelievably crazy turnaround story, which I am absolutely here for. So I'm getting a little bit excited about the Red Sox connection to Max Fried, but I'm not allowing myself to get crazy excited until we see the Red Sox put some money on the table. And honestly, I don't even know if we're going to see that unless he signs here. Still, it's fun to talk about some of these things going on in free agency, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What do you think about this Lucas Giolito clip? What do you think it means for the Red Sox? Is it truly a competitive advantage here, or is it something that you think people are blowing out of the water? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.